This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Rock, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! There's a real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
What up? No, it is a Tuesday. This is Knockouts and 3 Counts, and this week it's Flophouse. No fucks given, which we are the sponsors of. So if you're going to be in Detroit, stop by the table, buy you a fucking shirt. For all of you people who keep DMing me telling me you didn't get one of the last ones, buy one of these motherfuckers this weekend because I could use the bread. Otherwise, other than that, it's another Tuesday, and we've got a debut. We got a guy who I've been watching a lot since, like I've talked about on the show. Pandemic really kind of got me into the whole deathmatch thing and really started following it, so I've been looking forward to this one for a minute. We've got Satu Jinn before he shows up this Friday at Flophouse. No fucks given. Main event, triple threat match with Apollo Star and the great Matt Tremont, and it's Apollo Star's first death match to have to defend the belt. So there's a lot of things for us to talk about. How the hell are you feeling, man? Thanks for time.
Shit, I'm feeling pretty good. Thank y'all for having me on.
Hell yeah, man.
I want to say this is probably the first time I've ever seen you not bloodied up, man. Obviously before the match.
He's not lying.
I didn't really recognize you without the blood, you know what I mean? So.
Well, with the Genie tail at the end of it, it's kind of hard to miss, bro. It's kind of hard to miss.
Right.
Well, tell me about that first, man. I pride myself on doing my research and all them kind of things. Like I said, I've been watching you for a couple years now since I got into death matches, probably right as we went into pandemic. So with that being said, tell me, how the hell did Satu Jinn come to be? Because first of all, the name's dope as fuck. Second of all, once I started to look into like the backstory and all of it, man, it fascinated the shit out of me because there ain't nobody else doing anything even similar to what you're doing. So before we get into anything, how did Satu Jinn come to be?
Satu Jinn came to be a buddy of mine. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Carrie Awful of the Carnies.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. He took me under his wing there for a little bit and gave me some mentor advice on like my gimmick in wrestling. And like I had just had this fresh new like Majin Buu inspired gear made.
Nice.
And when he seen that, he hit me up and he was like, all right, we're going to bring you in. You're going to be Satu Jinn now. And I was like, at first I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like the sound of that name. Like it took me a second, like saying it and hearing it until I was like, all right, I can roll with this. And like, I can be more of who I am as a person, just more amplified in the ring. And I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, so like the Majin Buu gimmick and Satu Jinn just kind of.
Dude, I like it because that was the first thing. I'm not gonna hold you up. First time I saw you in person, I was trying to like put 2 and 2 together because I did first thing I think, is this guy supposed to be a genie or what am I missing here? And then when I started doing my research and looking into it, man, that's one of the biggest things that sticks out. Is like I said, nobody's doing anything close to that, and I definitely love the fact that it's Dragon Ball Z inspired because I may or may not have watched a lot of that shit. So now that we've got that out of the way, dude, tell me about what were some of you. So I've seen a lot of your stuff on YouTube and all the other platforms, and everybody knows that you're mainly known for all the deathmatch stuff. What was it that made you decide that was the road for Satu Jinn, or what did you ever have aspirations just regular wrestling, or did you always gravitate towards deathmatch stuff?
Really what made me decide was attending an ICW show. I couldn't tell you which one it was exactly. I just know it was a 4th of July show in like 2020 because I also got arrested that day. But we ended up going to that show, and like me just said, I rode up there with John Wayne Murdoch, and just watching the show, I was like, this is where I need to be. Like, if I'm gonna make an extra step in my career as a wrestler, I need to step it up and step in with these guys. And that's what made me honestly like really hit deathmatch hard. Before that, I had just been traveling all over the United States, just doing regular matches with whoever who will bring me in.
I got to go ahead, Corey.
I mean, that's such a huge jump in the career goals. I can understand seeing a show and you're like, well, damn, these boys are putting it on. If, like you say, if I'm going to jump to that next level, this is kind of the way to do it. But at the same time, man, there's got to be some more thought that went into it than just, that'll be the next way to step it up. Like, there's got to be a commitment level to being able to put yourself through glass, whatever the hell glass they want to throw at you that night, essentially, whatever the hell barbed wire, whatever like there's more commitment than that. Run me through that.
I mean,
it,
I would say the commitment in general is just the commitment to my career. Like, I want to be a professional wrestler. Like, there's no other job I'm doing outside of this. This is just me 24/7 professional wrestler. And like, that's what I wanted when I first like stepped into wrestling school. I never really watched like wrestling growing up as a kid. I wasn't like a wrestling fan turned wrestler. I was a 21-year-old guy who was working at a factory, and his buddy, my buddy Shane Mercer, took me to a indie show. And like, I had been doing like the backyard stuff with Mercer for about a couple years before that, but it was going to that indie show and like seeing all the characters, all the movements, how people reacted to the crowd, how the crowd reacted to them. I instantly like fell in love with professional wrestling. It was like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life.
That's awesome though, man. Cause it's like you said, everybody we bring on here, I mean, and we've talked to people clear from WWE and AEW to the indies around here to the guys doing death matches and all that stuff. And the one thing that's common with most people we talk to is you always hear they have one specific moment where they were like, yo, it clicked and this is what I wanted to do. And like Corey was talking about with the whole death match thing, then like you said, that takes it to a whole nother level of commitment because you're not just doing regular wrestling, but you're signing yourself up to get cut up and bleeding and everything else. Plus, talking about John Wayne Murdoch, who you were talking about, he is also a past guest of this here show. And, talking with him about the different ways you guys are able to tell stories in the ring with all the weapons. It's crazy because you'd have never thought of stuff like that. Like I started watching when I was 6, so that was like 98. You'd have never thought that deathmatch would be at the point where we're seeing it on like a mainstream company like AEW, even if it isn't quite what you're seeing at an RPW, GCW, all that kind of stuff. The fact that we're even seeing that around the TV in 2023 tells a story about how just people's views and what they're looking at in wrestling has changed. I feel like, because I feel like back in the 90s, even though you had what was going on in Japan, you didn't see it over here in the States like that.
Is 100% facts. Going back to like the deathmatch wrestling thing, like the commitment really wasn't that hard to make because like I love this shit. Like I love rolling around in glass and like getting hit with shit. Like I don't know what in me like didn't click to where like I enjoy it, but like all day, every day, I'd much rather do a death match than a regular match. And I discovered that within the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, once you said that your background was like, I had started with the background stuff, kind of playing around. I was like, oh, he was made for that then. That was just, like you say, it wasn't as much of a transition. If you're already not susceptible, but you know what I mean, willing to play in that world, you're definitely willing to play in the deathmatch world. I feel like the correlation's not that far.
Oh, 100%. It went like... early young me was like wannabe jackass kid making fucking videos of me hurting myself.
Yeah,
and then that translated to backyard.
I fucked up my tailbone at this dude's house. I fucked my tailbone up, falling off a wheelchair, doing some dumb.
I was about to say, haven't we all done some shit like that?
my tail. I could. Oh, dude, I couldn't.
Well,
stick
that's what
it.
happens when your
Yeah.
6 foot tall ass decides that you're going to sit on on the handlebars of a wheelchair, and then you think that it's going to end up well. You almost gave yourself a wheelchair enema. But since we're talking
Yeah,
about the
dog.
crazy shit that can happen in life, I mean, hell, when Randy was on here last week, she was talking about the thumbtack prostate exam that she gave out to Remington War in Chicago, using a damn
Ow.
cactus filled with thumbtacks and shit, shoving it up his ass. I mean, it doesn't surprise me to hear anything at this point in the world of deathmatch stuff. Speaking of that,
you don't want to watch, but you can't look away, type of thing.
I didn't know what the hell she was doing at first, to be 100% honest with you. I really didn't, because she just picked up the cactus, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck is she going to do with this? And I didn't foresee that going that way. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what she's got coming this week, too. Check out our episode from Thursday with her if you missed it, because we talked about her fighting Hoodfoot for ICW, what she's got going on with Kevin Giza, and talking about how he's got a 7-year waiting receipt for some shit that happened back in the day. So I'm interested to see what happens there. But since we talked about Ruthless Pro, man, talk to me about Ruthless Pro and some of your favorite stuff you've gotten to do there, because that was where I first got to see you. Shout out to Chris Kohlberg, who's a past guest of the show as well. But I always like the stuff that's going over there. What are your thoughts on your time over there?
Oh, I love Ruthless Pro. They are always going to be a special place for me. I guess kind of like a home for me in a sense, because they're going to be the first company that gave me my first like deathmatch title, like gave me my first chance at a deathmatch title. Freaking. Some of my favorite moments over there is winning the title, and then also it's a bittersweet moment dropping it to Randy West, but also that match with Randy West was just that's one of my favorites to look back on to this day.
Dude, Randy lives up to the moniker, man, because it doesn't matter who the hell she's fighting. She's got a hell of a fight on Saturday with Hoodfoot as well. So definitely, I'm not surprised to hear that being one of your favorite matches, because if there's one thing I can say watching Randy in person, it's that she don't give a shit who it is. She'll fight whoever it is. So, you know, that's the best part. That's half of what makes it dope to see people in a ring like that. Tell me, now that we're this close into Flophouse, man, what are your thoughts on this show? Because it sounds like Schwartzy and Randy got one hell of a fucking party ready to go, bro.
I am excited as fuck. I've been looking forward to this show. Schwartzy told me about No Fucks Given, I want to say back in like March, before March. It was about March or April. He told me about No Fucks Given, and back then it was just gonna be me and Tremont in the main event, which I was excited for that because it was another shot at Tremont. Well, originally that was going to be my first shot at Tremont, because this was before ICW had told me that I was going to be wrestling Tremont. So I was excited for it then because it was going to be my first shot. Now I'm excited because it's going to be my second chance at him. But then I'm hearing that now Apollo wants to be in the main event, and he wants to do his first death match with me and Tremont. And that just, one, it feels like an honor. And two, I'm looking forward to getting in there and cutting his scalp up. Like, there's just this part of me that just enjoys slashing people up, and especially people who are new to death matches.
Well, that led right into something I wanted to ask you about. That's something that makes this very intriguing for me, and especially you saying that Apollo just wanted to be in the main event and willingly puts the belt up there. Tell me, what are your thoughts on somebody who, like you said, is not only in their first death match, but now he's in there with not just the likes of you, he's got the legend and Matt Tremont in there as well. Apollo Star better be on his P's and Q's come Friday, man. That's a hell of a way to dump into death matches.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I respect it because it's like it's a jump in, sink or swim situation. Like I'm an IWA Mid-South guy. Like, that's where my early career started. And like, if there's one thing about Ian Rotten is he always puts you in a jump right in, sink or swim situation. Didn't really care for the guy too much, but that's what it was. And that also helped mold me into what I am now. I'm very big on people wanting to like get in and do it with some of the best who are some of the people who are the best at their craft. And I feel honored that freaking Apollo looked at me and was like, "You're one of the best. I want to get in there with you and a legend."
You brought it up, man. Tremont's an absolute legend. For those who maybe don't know as much about death matches and stuff, tell us your thoughts on Matt Tremont, because I learned a lot of his stuff through some of the things I saw in GCW and what he did at H2O and all that stuff. And now to see him back here again and all that stuff, I feel like this main event can't not deliver, because the three of you guys in a match, I'm a little bit newer to Apollo, but I'm damn sure aware of what you and Tremont are bringing, and you add Apollo in there, I feel like that main event's going to be fucking nuts.
I 100% think it's going to be nuts. Tremont, I love the guy. One of the nicest dudes I've met outside the ring. In the ring, he's hard as fuck to keep down. I've only gotten one chance to wrestle him. I'm looking forward to this second shot at it. Just everything he's done for deathmatch wrestling in general, like, kind of speaks volumes for the type of person he is. Like, I haven't had like a super lot of like, hangout buddy time with Tremont to be like, yeah, he's a great dude. But every interaction I've had with him has been simply a pleasure.
That's the one thing you hear, man. You hear a lot of people talk about the reputation with him, plus that badass entrance that he's got.
Yeah.
That entrance is sweet every time you see it. That's why I said anybody who's on the fence about Flophouse, no fucks given, I'm just saying, you might want to give a few of them, because you're missing out if you don't show up. I mean,
Yeah, Corey.
I plan on it.
Corey ain't even got an excuse, because that fucker's in for free too.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I know we're talking about before we live. You can't miss this. This is going to be the biggest party.
I just want it for the record. I didn't say anything. That was 100% J-Bo.
Hey, Corey, look. Fuck everybody here. Everybody listening.
I'm just saying, I'm the innocent bystander, but I support this message.
When me and you get together, it's always a good time, man. We're going to throw in the best pro wrestling in the city. It's the biggest party of the summer.
And D-Mac and Grinder are playing too, bro. And you ain't showing up too, bro. And especially after he had us sitting in the front row at the boxing fight. Come on.
Yeah, that's
this just in. Actually, I have breaking news right here to break. Kyle's buying drinks.
Ahead. Holy shit! Hold on. That's fake news. That's not breaking news, sir. That's not breaking news. That's fake news.
I don't see what the problem
is. You see, Satu, this is what we're talking about, bro. Like, people in the media these days, they just take things and they run for it. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but that's fake news. Because I'm already broke.
Let's go. Biggest party of the summer. I'm ready.
Hey, don't worry, bro. I got you covered. Them new Roosevelt shirts that I got. I'm about to be looking out here like a cross between a dad bod motherfucker and ready for SummerSlam. Wait till you see it. Make sure you're following us on KO3C Pod and you'll see it for yourself. With that being said, with you being, like you said, strictly in death matches and stuff like that, who were some of the influences for you as far as deathmatch stuff? Because obviously, even though you said you started later, I got to imagine you've gone back and looked at whether it be stuff from FMW or wherever it might be. What's some of the stuff that you've enjoyed watching as far as deathmatch stuff?
Since I really started getting into deathmatch stuff, going back, there hasn't really been I haven't really gone too far back. I need to go further back, but mostly I've been watching my friends and watching their back catalog. I love watching there's not too many people who are deathmatch wrestling today that I'm like, all right, I don't enjoy your work. Like, I enjoy watching like John Wayne Murdoch, Reed, freaking Akira, freaking Hoodfoot. I love watching him come up in the deathmatch scene. I've always loved watching Randy's death matches. Pondo,
past guest of the show.
I guess if I had to say the farthest back I've been watching is probably Pondo stuff, because he's the farthest back person I can think of to like look up and be like, all right, let me go here and check out some old Pondo matches.
Highly recommend Terry Funk and Onita. Should check that out. But
I do believe I've seen that one, but I'm gonna have to check it out again.
yeah, dude, it's fucking gnarly. And the way that Onita tries to cover him up after Terry Funk beat the shit out of him for the last 20 minutes to try to save him from the explosion, it's like it's theater type shit, my man, but with a lot of fucking blood.
Bloody theater. Like it.
You know, you're not kidding. Tell me, so when you're going for deathmatch stuff, you know, we've got a segment here that we call locker room etiquette. Now, the people that hear this, they're going to think that we're talking about trying to pull the curtain back and all those kind of things. I'm not. When we talk about locker room etiquette, we're talking about either it can be pet peeves of things that piss you off locker room wise, or advice that you'd give a young kid that's coming in, because we've gotten quite the list compiled, and some of it being from the likes of Booker T and his brother to Josh Briggs over there in NXT, and we've gotten everything from wash your balls, keep your baby mama out the locker room, bring your own wrist tape, bring your own sport bottle. Let's see. Silas Young said, just be able to shut up and listen. Ninja Mac talking about never be afraid to keep training. So is there anything in the world that jumps off the page to you on that one?
Fucking my biggest thing that I always stuck to and that stuck in my brain when I was first starting, like first coming up in wrestling, is fucking hop in the car. That was always the one. Like, find some vets who have some time in, who are traveling, who are making money, or where you want to be in this business, and do your best to like make friends and hop in the car with them. And like those people will be family to you if I guess aren't a weirdo and don't like connect. But fucking that's what I did with just about everyone I call a friend in wrestling right now. I started out hopping in the car with Reed and Murdoch wherever they went. I hopped in the car with Schwartz and Randy and Hoodfoot back when he was first getting matches. And then the Hooligans. The Hooligans took me the majority of it. Between the Hooligans and Randy and Schwartz's carloads, I was able to see over 28 states and Poland.
Yeah, that's huge for somebody just getting into the business, man. That's got just the networking that you can do alone, showing up to these shows with established people and stuff like that. The hands you get to shake, the people, the faces you get to meet, all that type of stuff. It makes a huge difference when you're just getting going.
100%. And then also on top of that, you're getting your reps in, and you're not only getting your reps in, but you're getting your reps in different areas. Like the people on the East Coast don't react to the same stuff as the people on the West Coast or in the Midwest or up north in Michigan. Like everyone's different. Every crowd is different.
So that's another thing I wanted to talk about, because not only do we have Flophouse coming up, we were talking about after we get from Flophouse, you're also going to be going to war at ICW as well. Before we get to that, I got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Potter's Tree Service. If you guys need some wood chipping, you need trees cut down, you need storm cleanup, you need all those things, Asa Potter's Service is your guy to do it. Tell him Knockouts 3 Count sent you. He'll have you out here chopping trees down, looking like old hacksaw out here. So do that. Hit the link. Check them out. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Count sent you. All right. Now, like I was saying with the ICW stuff, I've really enjoyed what I've gotten to see. I was at the circus, and that was cool to see. And you talk about different environments and different fan bases. Well, I would go out on a limb and venture to say that ICW might have one of the uniquest wow, is that a word, uniquest? The most unique. Yeah, I guess it is today. But fuck it. One of the most unique crowds that you'll see, and with the chains and all that stuff. Tell me the differences with ICW versus everywhere else, and what are your thoughts about the stuff you've gotten to do there?
Well, first of all, the difference between ICW that I've noticed and everywhere else is like it's what you said. The fans are the most unique. Like this is the most unique fans I have ever met across the board. They're the most supportive. They're literally a family. Like they're all in one big group together. If you're a real ICW diehard, you're in the probably ICW group, I assume, the merchandise group, and they're all in there just having a great time talking, connecting, and that right there is like that's beautiful to me in a sense. Like something, just one brand bringing a bunch of people together outside of what it has to offer. Like these people are becoming friends and making lifelong connections over one particular thing. And then from that one particular thing, they go out and travel and go to other shows. Like ICW is, I feel like it's increased the draw for other shows when it makes its fan or it gets its fan base to travel as well.
They always do, and that's one thing that is true. You know, shout out to Danny DeMonto. I'm looking forward to seeing him come out here and go do work out here. But with that being said, you know, ICW also, like I said, like he said, whether it's Michigan, Chicago, I mean, I've watched the stuff on IWTV, and it's like they've got like it may not always be the biggest crowd, but they show up for them, man. And when they get going, like I said, it's a hell of a place to be. What's some of your favorite matches you've gotten to have so far in ICW inside the chains, bro?
Oh, that's easy. Right off the top of my head, Ruben Steele, my matches with Ruben, my matches with Casanova, and then Tremont is like probably right there at the next underneath those two. Well, those four, I guess you would say, because it was 2 matches with Casanova and 2 matches with Ruben.
Man, that's a thing. I've enjoyed it. J-Bone, I know you've been watching the ICW stuff. What do you got, bro?
Listen, I got a question real quick. So I know you've seen a lot of shit in the deathmatch scene, bro. I just watched you with Cruel, you know, the untempered glass incident. We've seen Hoodfoot tear his fucking arm apart. We've seen crazy things in the deathmatch world. What's the craziest thing that you could say that you've seen as a deathmatch wrestler?
I really don't like bringing this one to light, but it happened and people know it happened. But freaking the craziest thing I seen was a guy freaking with John Wayne Murdoch ended up breaking his neck at a Slave to the Deathmatch tournament.
Oh,
yeah. That one was probably the like that was shit became real that night, and I was like, I've got to take this 100% seriously. Like, there's no
room for fucking around.
There's no room for error. Like, you literally have to be on your P's and Q's. Like, don't half-ass anything. Like, commit. Like, 100%. Be ready, and then know that this shit can like it can end in a drop of a dime. Like, there's been multiple people we've almost lost in this fucking scene.
You ain't kidding, man. And then
volumes, dude. That speaks volumes to like the art of it, because we can Kyle, we've seen how quick it can end. We were there when Hoodfoot sliced his arm pretty much in half, dude. You know what I mean? We see how fast this thing can
that
end.
was fucked.
But when you talk to every single deathmatch wrestler, it's almost like it's almost like a silent like bond, right? We know what we're doing. We know what we signed up for. We're gonna get bloody and we're gonna get crazy, but we know how to keep each other well. You know what I mean? So I think that speaks volumes to the art of the deathmatch wrestler. So I think that's pretty damn cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
I feel like I bring it up on the show all the time, but honestly, it reminds me of me with the motorcycle. It's like the same type of like thing. Like you know, everybody else on the road, same type of deal. You know, you're the dangers. You're not. Most people aren't even willing to roll the dice once they're in that career. You know, it's like that same type of like known respect, I guess you could say, type of thing.
It's I mean,
it's an adrenaline addicting. You wanna push it to the limit. You want to see like how far you can push your body and what it can take. Like,
and it's the same type of thing with a bike too. Like you'll talk to all type of guys with a bike, and it's like, how far can I push this corner? How fast can I take? You know, how far can I take that wheelie before the damn thing rolls over? You know, it's like it's the same type of game. It's like the extreme side of it. You know, it's the same.
push
it's
it
weird.
to the limit. At the same
con-
time, you're there to take care of each other as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird the similarities there though.
Man, like I said, this is going to be a hell of a weekend. Once again, if you guys haven't already gotten tickets, check us out August 4th, Flophouse Wrestling, no fucks given. It's going to be a damn good time. It's going to be a party. But, you know, we're all looking forward to what's happening on Saturday. Do you keep up much with any of the stuff that's going on in like the mainstream scene like that? Are you watching SummerSlam this weekend?
No, not really.
I figured you weren't, but I figured I'd ask because it was funny. Swole, I would have figured would have been the last one to want to talk about it, and she had all kinds of shit to say about it. Yeah. So I figured I'd see.
I like a few things on the internet and be like, okay, well, this is what's going on right now. That's cool.
It's so
it's not
funny
for everybody.
Yeah, it's so funny to me being the outside. I follow more the MMA side on the show. So the wrestling stuff to me, I do my best to fill in the blanks and stuff like that. And it's so funny to me when we have the wrestlers on, and so many of them are like you, where they're like, I do what I do. I follow my friends. I follow the stuff that I care about. But as for the big stuff, I could give or take it. And it's so funny though that there's so many people in the industry that have that same mentality. It's like, it seems like almost as if the big stuff is just for the casuals, and then like all the like homegrown stuff is where the people draw the most interest, I guess you could say. It's weird.
I look at it as like that time I could spend looking at that and being like, oh, that's enjoying that. I could be out here doing it, making money. Like that's,
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that one.
I'm not one for comparisons or anything like that. So it's like I don't want to attract that type of energy either. So it's like, I kind of get like you said, I stick to myself, I stick to my friends, I try to keep everything like positive on my social media and stuff like that. So that way, you know, it doesn't affect me.
I totally respect that too, dude, because it's like number two. Here's the other thing. I mean, getting to have so many different people from all different parts of the wrestling business around here. It's like it's the same with fighters. You know, I've been around fighting since I was 13 years old. I took my first fight when I was 13. And the thing of it is, it's like when you talk to a lot of people who fight, it's like, oh, do you watch the fights? A lot of them don't watch the fights like you would think they do unless they're, you know, studying an opponent or something like that. And I mean, I feel like it's the same thing with wrestling. I mean, when you're wrestling every week, 4 or 5 different places in a week or whatever it might be on a given week, man, once you get done, you just want to sit down and chill. So it's like the same kind of thing that we hear from like the fighting side of things. But speaking of that, do you ever get down with MMA at all? Do you watch? Were you ever a fan of the fights at all?
I think I'm like the what would be a typical like average fan. Like I got into it in like, you know, 09 to like maybe like 14, and kind of just went out. Like I couldn't tell you who's like fighting now, but like who I was big on back in the day, where I was like freaking I was big on what was it, John Jones? I was big on Rampage. What was it? Genki Sudo was one of my favorite ones.
Going way back machine.
Yeah, I love Sudo fights. I loved like Fedor fights. What else? There was this guy, Crazy Horse Bennett.
Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. Yep. He's still fighting now, dude. He's fight. He just fought in bare knuckle a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken.
My man's crazy, dude. He changed his name. He no longer wants anyone to call him Crazy Horse. He wants to be known as Felon.
That's right, Charles Felony Bennett.
Ooh. Yeah.
We brought up Rampage.
God damn, boy.
To honor my twin brother.
Except his was silver, bro, not gold.
That's all right. Different complexion and all that. I gotta coincide.
It's a different complexion and all that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh,
different color chain, different color person. It's close enough.
All good. We're still brothers.
Hell yeah, dude. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this weekend. For anybody that's new to Satu Jinn and all that stuff, do you got any matches that you would point out in particular as far as not, it could be from any company, whether it's ICW, RPW, whoever it might be. What are a couple matches that you would say, I want you to watch this because this is a good representation of what Satu Jinn is?
Off the top of my head, I would have to say a good representation of me would be freaking me versus Cruel, the first one at Deathmatch Horror Story. Watch that all the way up until the pain incident, and then like you could watch it after that if you want to. I mean, Cruel walks off like a badass, but I think that's where things kind of go south. Great match up until that.
That's a big sumbitch to be in there with too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one I liked. It was ICW No Holds Barred 44. I think it was. I just watched it the other day against Tremont. You had the fucking the butcher thingy, and you're carving his fucking head up on the rope, dude. That shit was dope. That's something to see. If you ain't never watched that match, watch something like that.
I was gonna say another good one is Pit Fighter 6. Me and Ruben in Florida. I always think that's a really good match for people to check out if you want to know what I'm about. Me and Randy at either RPW's Code Orange or This Time It's War. I think both those matches are great matches to watch. And me versus Hoodfoot. Any me versus Hoodfoot match is gonna be good.
I can definitely attest to this because I was there for a couple of those. And like I said, I am very much so looking forward to this Friday. We got to get Corey out there. We're going to have shirts out there. We got new stickers, all that shit. Come check us out. Come check out Satu Jinn. I feel like this main event is going to get gnarly in this mug. Well, dude, I appreciate the time. We definitely got to do this again soon, man. Like I said, maybe we'll do a recap after one of these once we get out of Flophouse, no fucks given. But if you got social medias and all that, throw it out to everybody one more time. And if there's anything you want people to know, let them know, man.
For sure. Yeah, social media wise, I am probably one of the easiest motherfuckers to find on social media because there's only one Satu Jinn ever. So if you Google me, freaking Twitter me, or X, whatever it is, can we take a second to talk about how that freaks me out?
How many people I know front gun about that?
X on my phone.
Fuck, they got me with a virus. What did I click?
I was like, oh, I'm fucked. What is this?
Hell yeah,
and
dude.
It up and it's Twitter. But yeah, if you look me up on X, fucking Facebook, fucking one of my Instagram, Satu Jinn, SATUJINN, you will find me anywhere.
Well, you've sparked one last question for me, and it's a perfect way for us to go out. Since we now know that Satu Jinn is, what's up, man? How you doing? The Deathmatch Genie. Tell me, if you could have one wish in the bottle, what's it gonna be? If you had your own bottle to get yours from.
One wish is to get the fuck out of this country. I want to go fight people around the world. I want to do this all over the place on a regular basis. That is my one wish.
I like it. Satu Jinn over in Japan.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like Japan would do real well with Satu Jinn, man.
Shit, Japan, Europe, China, freaking Australia, all of it. I want all of it. Africa, I don't care. I want to go there and I want to wrestle and perform for people.
He wants all the smoke, man. Well, if you want all the smoke, hell yeah, you heard him. All of it. There was a lot of it at the Wiz Khalifa and Snoop concert the other day. But if you guys are looking to get you some, make sure you're there this Friday. Flophouse, no fucks given. The old Miami, Darren McCarty and Grinder are getting down. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Until the next time, and in between time, ring the bell. Buy you the Ring the Bell t-shirt as well, man. That's coming soon. Peace.